Sacred Goddess Hecate, help me manifest justice in my actions, temperance in my soul, courage in my choices, wisdom in my words, and compassion towards all living beings. Hi, my name is Renee Olson. I am the Keybearer and Torchbearer I'm one of the Keybearers and Torchbearers for the Coven of Hecate. And we are continuing our look at the Five Virtues. This is the final part of our 5-part series, and today we are talking about wisdom. And this, of course, is your weekly installment of Cuppa and cards. So I'm having some Rubio's tea this morning. It is the 27th of September. Wow. It has flown by. I've really enjoyed talking with you over these last few weeks on the 5 virtues. So just to look back a little bit at what we've been talking about, we started out talking about compassion, right? And compassion, of course, is embodying love and care for all living beings. Then we went into courage, and this was facing challenges or standing up in spite of being afraid, unlike what some may think is like never being afraid. That's totally not what we mean by that. And then temperance was balancing life's extremes, right? You're going to be finding that way to create harmony and a levelness in your thoughts and deeds. And then last week we talked about justice, and this was maintaining fairness and accountability in all of your actions. So not necessarily retribution, if you will, or revenge. We're talking about justice. So today we turn our attention to wisdom, and it is a foundation. It is the foundation in which I try to base my decisions, taking actions, and navigating my life in general based on this particular virtue. So grab your tea, pull up a chair. We're going to have a chat about this, and then I'm also going to pull a card for you at the end of our discussion. All right, so let's get started. So wisdom is not simply knowledge, right? Wisdom is the ability to apply what you already know in a meaningful way. It's learning from your experiences and making sound judgment based on those experiences. It helps us make choices that are aligned with truth, balance, and understanding. Now, what does that mean really, right? So when we think about things like elderly and I say elderly, but I mean like our crones and our sages, or our grandparents, our great-grandparents, these people tend to have what we would call saged advice. They are the elders in our community. They are the ones who live the most, have the most life experiences, and are able to help us understand what we're doing, if we're making the right choices, if we're giving enough attention to those things that need to be attended to. It is seeing what is beyond the surface, right? And it's being able to look around and see the bigger picture. And it's also recognizing, right, the interconnectedness between events, actions, and consequences. So, it's being able to understand that, even though you may not necessarily like person A, right? It's not somebody you would hang out with or whatever. Sorry, the mic is bothering my earring. Let me slide that down a minute. That's what you get when you get this no editing thing that I have going on. So there we go. But it's understanding that even though you might not like person A, or person A's energy doesn't line up with you, you're still on a project together and you still have to get work done. So you just pull up your panties and you go on with the day, right? You don't sit off to the side, cross your arms and pout. No one, and we're not in the 3rd grade, You know, we have a project to work on together, and we should work together on that project to its end. So when you're thinking about, you know, the wisdom that it takes, right? This interconnectedness to get those jobs done, that's one of the things you want to think about, right? Is this really, you know, is this the hill I want to die on? I love that incense. This is the incense. It's so fabulous. I absolutely love it. Okay, sorry. I got distracted. It happens sometimes. Okay. So the key elements of wisdom, right, are the ability to reflect on past experiences and grow from them. So I don't think really things are mistakes, if you will, right? They're learning experiences. With my mundane job, we often talk about failing fast, right? That's one of the elements of Scrum, right, or Agile methodology, is the ability to get in and fail fast, learn from your mistakes, and create a new iteration and move forward. So that's one of the things that you have to be able to do, is to grow and learn from your mistakes. You know, I am definitely not the same person sitting in this chair today that I was 6 months ago, a year ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm definitely not the same person. I've grown a great deal. I've changed tremendously in the way that I deal with others, and in the way that I let or allow others to deal with me. So anyone, you know, you have to be able to look at where you were and be able to say, and don't be afraid to say, I was previously speaking from a place where I did not have the life experience I have now, and I've grown. It is decision making guided by a sense of balance and fairness and truth, right? So when we think about the decisions that we make on a daily basis, you know, do we side? Just this morning, I think I typed a status message and I backspaced, and I was going to comment for someone and I backspaced, and then I just went to my status. I was like, you know, I backspaced so much more than I used to. It used to be so important to me to make sure that people understood me. It was so important that I would, you know, constantly repeat myself. I would constantly send messages and follow up and touch base. And now I'm at a point where I realize that I need to not only be fair and speak truthfully, but there's also a sense of balance. Then that comes with wisdom that I need to maintain, so that I'm giving myself permission to let go of those things that may not be causing me, that might not be bringing me joy. They may be causing me pain in my life. It's knowing when to act, when to pause, and to find clarity in difficult situations. And this is what I was talking about just now, backspacing, right? You've got to know when it's not going to do you any good to say anything. I have family members that are very, very narrow in their mindset, and they believe a certain way, and there's nothing that I can do to change their mind. And should I even try, right? I would love to be able to have a place that I could, you know, invite family members over, and we could have cookouts, and we could have barbecues, and we could, you know, spend time together, and we could go to events and things like that. But that's not the world I live in, right? And it took a bit for me to understand and to know when I needed to stop that acting, stop reaching out, stop putting myself in a position where I'm going to continually get hurt. It's understanding that I can have clarity where I am now. I can be centered, and I don't need to continue to reach out to them, because that situation is not going to change. And you only learn that, you only get to that point through wisdom. In my own life, right, wisdom has been a guiding force for me, from everything from my spiritual practice, and that's, you know, working with the goddess, to my holistic wellness work. It's about having the information, but also applying that information that you learn. It's all well and good to know how to, create recipes and which supplements you should be using and which juices are best for this. But it also takes wisdom to understand that maybe this person isn't ready for that particular step in the program yet. So you need to pull back a little bit and approach it with that clarity we talked about and with that sense of balance, so that they can be where they need to be in their healing journey. So how does this relate to Hecate? When we worked on the Five Virtues, a group of us in the Covenant of Hecate sat down and laid out the 5 virtues. We came together, we had all these different words and we chose them and we narrowed on these 5. And we chose each one for a specific reason, because they did relate directly to what we saw as Hecate's virtues as outlined in some of the popular mythology. So I'm going to speak specifically about the Homeric hymn to Demeter, right? So in this hymn, Hecate plays a pivotal role in helping Demeter discover the truth behind her daughter Persephone's abduction. After hearing Persephone's cries during the kidnapping, Hecate does not act impulsively. Instead, she guides Demeter to Helios, the sun god, who reveals the entire story to her. Now, how does this demonstrate wisdom? Her wisdom shines through here. She sees the truth in a reliable way. She knows we need to go where we can get the best information. And Helios, in the story, being the sun, is up high and can see everything that's going on and would have the most accurate information for Demeter. Her ability to facilitate discovery of truth without rash actions exemplifies her wisdom. And at this moment, it shows that wisdom often comes from understanding when to ask for help and when to seek out the right sources for information. So this is obviously something that you could work on in your own personal workings with both mundane and magical. But we see here that this is directly related. This is where wisdom played a role in that particular hymn. So another way that we see that Hecate is focused around or a part of wisdom is that she's depicted as, of course, the goddess of the crossroads. Where the crossroads are where key decisions are made. That's where people come. They're at their wits' end sometimes. They're maybe looking for ways to make deals and bargains, or they're looking for a way to get to another place, right? So at the crossroads of life, Hecate represents the wisdom needed to make informed, balanced decisions. Her guidance comes from not pushing us towards a particular path, but helping us see all the options in all directions, right? So this is that shining light through all the different ways, okay? The Torchbearer letting us see what lies in all directions and helping us be able to choose the right path. Not guiding us to a path, mind you. The decision is ours, but just laying out what's there for us so we can see it. Hecate's wisdom reminds us that every moment of choice is an opportunity for growth. When we stand at our own crossroads, she shows us how to pause, reflect, and trust our inner wisdom and then guide us forward. That inner wisdom, that voice that tells you what to do, right? It helps you it guides you forward. Another way we see wisdom is balance, right? In the Chaldean oracles, right? Hecate is depicted as the cosmic mediator, a figure of profound wisdom who maintains harmony between the material and the spiritual world. She oversees the balance between life and death, spirit and matter, ensuring that neither side overwhelms the other. Hecate's role as a mediator requires her to possess the deepest wisdom, as though it were her understanding that balance is maintained in the cosmos. Her wisdom is about control, or not about control rather, but about allowing the natural order to flow. Guiding wisdom lies in balance between the seen and the unseen, action and stillness. It's that middle point. It's temperance, right? It is justice. It's everything rolled into one, that really shows us where Hecate is indeed all of these virtues that we selected. Hecate's wisdom teaches us that life is a delicate balance of opposites. By embracing the balance in our own lives, we can connect deeper with her truths, finding peace in knowing that wisdom is both understanding and accepting the ebb and flow of life. So the next way that we look at this is going to be Hecate as a teacher, right, of mystical wisdom. Hecate is not only a goddess of wisdom, but also a teacher of the magical arts. So the esoteric knowledge. In ancient times, she was invoked by those seeking to learn magic and necromancy, skills requiring not only knowledge but wisdom to know how to wield them responsibly. One of the most famous examples is through working with Medea. She was a devoted follower of Hecate and learned her magical abilities under the goddess's tutelage. Her role as a teacher in the magical arts demonstrated her understanding of the deep layers of wisdom. She doesn't just offer knowledge, she teaches the importance of responsibility and ethical use of power. Now, that's not to say, who's to say what ethical is, right? There are plenty of references to curse tablets and, throughout antiquity related to Hecate. So ethical, sometimes I think, is often in the eye of the beholder. Wisdom comes from knowing when and how to apply what we've learned. And Hecate ensures that her followers understand the sacred responsibility that comes with wielding such magic. Hecate encourages us to seek knowledge, but also to reflect deeply on how we use that knowledge. True wisdom is not what we know, but how we use it, and if we use it to serve a higher purpose. So now let's look at Hecate and intuition, right? Hecate's association with the moon, particularly the new moon or the dark moon, right? That space, that transitional point aligns her with intuition and inner knowledge. The dark moon is often seen as a time for reflection and introspection, a time when Hecate's guidance is the strongest for those seeking wisdom. Hecate teaches us that wisdom is not only external, but also internal, right? We have to know who we are inside in order to be able to be okay with what's going on outside. Wisdom isn't always about looking outward for answers. We need to learn how to look inward and trust our intuition and embracing the cycles of the moon, for example, or the stars, the sun, the ebb and flow of the waters, whatever you most directly connect with, to understand stillness and reflection. Let's see. What do you think about this, right? What do you think about how wisdom guides spiritual practice? I think it's obvious that they go without saying, but I'd love to hear your decisions. Do you call on Hecate for wisdom to make more clearer decisions, or how do you work with this particular virtue? All right. So now let's think about this from where we're sitting today, right? We're not working with Medea, right? We're not rolling up our tablets and creating, ritual or curses on bronze scrolls. I lost my train of thought for a moment there. How do we bring this in today's world? What can we do today to make this something that we can work with every day? One way that you can do this is you can just take some time to self-reflect, right? Sit down with your candles, your incense, your deities. Sit down with them and reflect inward on what it actually means to you and how you can apply them to your decisions daily, right? How does it work? How does it interact with, when you're going outside and saying hello to your neighbor, or when you're in the grocery store and you see someone steal something? How does wisdom play a part in all of that? What do you do in those situations? We can use wisdom to make balanced choices, whether they're in our relationships or career development or personal growth. Some examples of this might be maybe there is a family member that you don't particularly get along with. Maybe it's not such a great idea to comment on a post that they made, right? You already know you're not getting along with them. Don't poke the bear. Why poke the bear, right? There's no reason to. Does it bring you joy, right? Is it useful, right? Think about those things. That's where what wisdom comes in. Another way that you can bring wisdom into your day is you can know when to seek a spiritual guide, or know when you need to have a little bit of extra help on something. A lot of times people will continue making the same mistake just because they've been doing it for so long, instead of stopping and be like, okay, I'm done with that. I've already committed that one. Let me just put it aside and start over again. Don't hang on to something just because you've been doing it for a long time. Sometimes there's a reason for change. And, there's nothing like looking at the cards and going, yep, today's the day, and move on. Mindful communication is another way. You want to make sure you choose your words wisely, and don't make rash decisions. Don't, can I even say this anymore? Throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't make a decision and decide on something that is going to be detrimental to yourself later on. You can always wait. You can always postpone the conversation. Nothing is life and death that we are dealing with in this scenario. If it is, then that's a whole other conversation, and you wouldn't be having this talk with me right now. But that's the way you're going to look at bringing, ways of bringing wisdom into your day. So wisdom is a virtue that allows us to navigate life's complexities with clarity, balance, and insight. It helps us learn from the past, act in the present, and prepare for the future. Reflect on how wisdom plays a role in your life, and how you can cultivate a deeper understanding in your decisions, and where you can call on Hecate to guide you in times of uncertainty. And just as Hecate stands at the crossroads offering insight and clarity, may we all walk the paths of wisdom and make decisions that reflect balance and fairness and growth. So that is my talk on wisdom. I'm just going to move this over here. And just go into a couple of other things that I have for you today. So this has been the 5-part series on the virtues. I've really enjoyed making it and discussing it with you. I've enjoyed your comments and the emails that have been sent over on it. Next week, I'm going to be taking a week off. I'm actually going on travel for my mundane job, so I'll be out of the state for most of the week. So I will not do a video for next week. But the week after, I'm going to start on a new series, and it is called Who is Hecate? Insights from the Epithets. And it's going to focus on the new cards that I created for the deck, the Crossroads Oracle. And I added 30 new cards to the deck. They've been printed and they're here. I just need to finish writing the guidebook and recording the demo for that, or the video guide for it. But here's a few of the cards. I'm going to hold those up for you to see. There's one. I really like this one. Oopsie. Let's not throw everything down. Here's the next one. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. My previewer isn't working very well on my watch, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see them. But this is a few of them that are going to be added. And again, anyone who already purchased the deck, you can reach out to me and I will send you these supplemental cards at no charge. And just go ahead and send those. I love this one. That's a beautiful card. And here's one. And we will call it this one. I might as well just go ahead and show them all to you. This will be a nice preview of the deck for you. And this one, Scotty. That's a great card. Great card right there. this one. And this one I'm also including the pronunciations. You'll have to forgive me because I am dyslexic and from the South. So my enunciation may not be proper Greek. I think they're Greek names. But hopefully it'll be something that you do appreciate. All right. So now, okay, we talked about the next class or the next video that's going to be on October 11th. So I'm taking next week off. Let me just pull my calendar up really quick to make sure I'm giving you the right date. Yes, that'll be October 11th when we do that one. So I'm going to pull a card for you. We haven't pulled a card in a little bit. I decided to not do daily pulls every day. It was pulling a lot of energy for me, and I just needed to pull back a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and pull this card today. And it is, the River Witch card. All right, so I'm going to hold that up for you. The River Witch Oracle is available on my website if you're interested. The River Witch card has 3 key words, and it's mystery, adaptability, and intuition. So when we think about this card, we want to think about how this applies to us. So what you want to do is you want to focus your mind, focus on the River Witch, focus on the imagery. You see the water, you see the witch standing next to the water. In this particular one, she's holding out her hand with something inside of it, probably magic. And then mystery comes from the unknown. It's understanding, it's developing, it's learning. So when you're thinking about your day today, focus on that. What do you need to learn today? Maybe you need to teach someone something. Maybe it's not learning, maybe it's teaching. Adaptability is our next word. The ability to change, to pivot, to fail fast, right? That's that whole agile methodology I was talking about earlier. And then finally, intuition. Intuition is that voice inside. It's how we know what we are doing, what we need to do with our lives, or what we need to do with a basket of bread, whatever it is you're focusing on. It doesn't necessarily need to be that serious. So that's your card for today. I hope you've enjoyed that. I've definitely missed doing the reading, so maybe I might do a couple more later. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Leave them in the chat, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I want you to have a wonderful September 27th, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.